Kyle Busch, the fiercely competitive driver whose name became synonymous with dominance across every level of NASCAR, died on Thursday at the age of 41. The heartbreaking news sent shockwaves throughout the racing world, leaving fans, teams, and fellow drivers struggling to process the loss of one of the most accomplished and recognizable figures the sport has ever seen. Busch's death marked the end of a remarkable career that was defined by relentless determination, unmatched consistency, and a passion for racing that never faded, no matter the pressure or criticism that surrounded him through the years. Busch built a legacy that few drivers in NASCAR history could ever hope to match. A two-time Cup Series champion, he spent decades establishing himself as one of the most talented and fearless competitors the sport had ever witnessed. Across NASCAR's 3 national series, Busch collected an astonishing 234 victories, more than any driver in the history of the sport. His ability to dominate week after week, regardless of the track or circumstances, separated him from nearly everyone who ever climbed behind the wheel. Whether it was the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, or Truck Series, Busch consistently found ways to win, earning respect from competitors and admiration from millions of fans who watched his incredible rise through the years. Among his many accomplishments were 63 victories in the Cup Series, achievements that placed him among the elite names in NASCAR history. One of the defining moments of his career came with his victory in the 2018 Coca-Cola 600, a triumph that further cemented his reputation as one of the sport's toughest and most complete drivers. Busch never backed away from pressure. He embraced the intensity that came with racing at the highest level, often competing with a fiery edge that made him one of the most talked-about personalities in motorsports. To some fans, he was a hero, to others a villain, but to everyone watching, he was impossible to ignore. The news of his death was confirmed Thursday in a joint announcement from the Busch family, NASCAR, and Richard Childress Racing. Earlier in the day, Busch's family revealed that he had been hospitalized due to what they described as a severe illness. The sudden nature of the announcement stunned the racing community, especially with Busch scheduled to compete just 3 days later in the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Fans had expected to see him once again climb into his car and battle for another victory, as he had done countless times throughout his extraordinary career. Instead, the sport was left mourning one of its brightest stars. According to NASCAR.com, no official cause of death was provided in the statement released Thursday. The lack of details only deepened the sadness and disbelief surrounding the situation. Throughout the day, tributes and emotional reactions poured in from across the NASCAR world as drivers, crew members, teams, and supporters reflected on the enormous impact Busch had on the sport. His presence had been a constant in NASCAR for years, and imagining race weekends without him suddenly felt unimaginable to many who had followed his journey from the very beginning. The joint statement released by the Busch family, Richard Childress Racing, and NASCAR captured the overwhelming grief felt throughout the sport. "Our entire NASCAR family is heartbroken by the loss of Kyle Busch," the statement read. Those words reflected the emotional devastation shared by so many people connected to racing. Busch was not simply another driver on the track. He was one of the defining faces of an entire era, someone whose competitive spirit and incredible skill helped shape modern NASCAR in ways that will never be forgotten. The statement continued by describing Busch as a future Hall of Famer, a title that few would ever dispute, considering the remarkable numbers and achievements attached to his career. It also called him a rare talent, one who comes along once in a generation. That description felt fitting for a driver whose success reached levels that seemed almost impossible in the modern era of NASCAR. Busch possessed a unique ability to adapt to different tracks, different cars, and different situations while continuing to perform at an elite level year after year. His instincts behind the wheel often appeared effortless, but those closest to the sport understood how much dedication and preparation fueled his success.